What's up? We're on the set right now. Man in the mirror.
Que tú lo sepas, latino dime huepa. Mi mami no nació para ser sirvienta. Yo te lo digo, aunque tú no sientas. Dame limoncillo y que nepa. Alza la mano, lo que tú representas. Es que mi música tú necesitas concentrar.
You did your thing, but that was on you. Yo, what's going on, guys?
You said you wasn't gay, right? Well, prove it. Finish this off, Jace.
The script talked about a lot of issues concerning teenagers and homosexuality and just.
What decision do you think he made in his footsteps, and on top of that, what would you have done?
When we see this story and we see Jason, the audience is going to be Jason. And so when they come to the end of this film and they see what he's about to do, what exactly he's being challenged with and confronted with, and how is he gonna handle it?
What would you do in a situation,
Are you going to just go along with what everyone does, or do you have a choice to do something different?
Because some people don't actually put themselves in that scene. When they watching, they be like, oh, I would do this, I would do that. But when you're in a scenario like that, you really wouldn't know what you're gonna do.
I think masculinity is how you define yourself as a man. I feel like Jason's having this big struggle with himself, and I think people put so much emphasis on everyone else's views of Jason, and I don't think Jason ever gets to understand how he feels about himself.
It definitely attacks, the notions of traditional masculinity, and also about who is considered to be a man.
American society grow up feeling that they must fit inside this very rigidly defined box. They must be tough, they must be straight, heterosexual, they must be providers, have a job, have money.
As depicted through film, as depicted through literature, as depicted through mainstream media, rap, men are caricatured in a certain way. They're characterized in ways that already put these certain types of pressures on us to perform.
So Jason is a very popular, good-looking, on the surface, straight or heterosexual young man, and he's rewarded for that. He is being rewarded for performing masculinity the correct way.
But then masculinity is always already seen as, maleness, as aggression, as head of household.
Why does that have to be that? For a man to have masculinity, or for him to not be teased about his gender or anything like that, why does it have to be that he has to either go prove to himself to somebody else? He has to go beat up somebody else.
So boys are being policed. There's a sort of hyper-masculine ideal that they must fit onto, otherwise it's immediately the extreme reverse, which is that they must be gay.
So what does this look like in a classroom? Student A picks on student B. First response is, I'm not a punk. I'm not a sissy. I'm not weak. In other words, I'm not feminine. So to show you that I'm not weak, punk, sissy, feminine, I'm going to respond to you.
Wait, listen, you want to get yourself hurt. You know that, right?
We really want to get hurt, like that. Relax, man.
I'm going to exercise what I consider to be like a masculine gender performance to reinforce my masculinity, which has everything to do with aggression.
Homo, listen, Jace, get in here and beat the fag out of him. I ain't got no patience for this.
Hey, man.
Who's the manliest man that we know? What about 50 Cent? What about A-Rod, Alex Rodriguez? Is he masculine?
Yes.
How come?
He's a ball player.
He's a ball player? Why else? What about your fathers? Are they masculine? One of the things that I'm really excited about is what scenarios is proposing for us as a people to do, which is one, to listen to young people, and to two, include them in the conversation in a real way.
It's not okay to, to hurt someone physically because they're gay. It's not about so much about the sexuality. It's about being who you are and not, succumbing to all of these, all the peer pressure.
I mean, I think one of the main things for my character, you shouldn't have to be so afraid to be who you are. And that seems something that's sort of said over and over again, but it's true. Like, the reason why he doesn't come out and just allow himself to feel what he's feeling is because he's afraid of how it's going to affect his public life, the way his friends are going to react to him. I mean,
this isn't easy for me. I have other things in my life besides you to worry about.
When you think about all the problems about urban education and about and social stratification and how so many young people are marginalized from the places that we come from, it's the implications of it of what we're doing are powerful, and they matter, and they mean something.
I wrote what I thought needed to be told, and I felt that, Jason's story needed to be told because it's not just his story, it's stories that are happening all over the country.
Cooking up a classic.
And the real message this year from Scenarios is, what is it to be a man? With any kind of public service, with any kind of enlightenment, even when we make feature films, is you're hoping to open up a discussion, whatever that is.
Each character has their own little piece of what I feel masculinity is. Being comfortable with yourself, standing your ground, being able to look yourself in the mirror at the end of the day and be, happy with what you see.
What we're doing isn't having young people, memorize the words of Mark Twain or study the films of Alfred Hitchcock or Martin Scorsese. We're saying that they're the Hitchcocks, they're the Scorseses, they're the Mark Twains. What do you guys think about this film that we're making? It's powerful. Why is it powerful? What's the message?
you shouldn't have to be so afraid to be who you are.
Can something else be done?
How can you label me something that I haven't even labeled myself?
I'm not a real friend if I don't accept you for who you are.
It's cool, break down the barriers that people set for you.
You know what it is. You know what it is. Cooking up a classic. Que tú lo sepas, latino, dime huepa. Mi mami no nació para ser sirvienta. Yo te lo digo, aunque tú no sientas. Dame limoncillo y que nepa. Alza la mano, lo que tú representas. Es que mi música tú necesitas concentrar. Que nada es gratis en este país. Que te chupan y explotan, te dejan pa' morir. Hold up, give the kid some room.